Hello great people, you are welcome back to Physical Fashioners channel. My name is Fola, and we appreciate as many that has been subscribing to this channel. Thank you very much. And if you are yet to subscribe, do well to subscribe today. Thank you. So today we will be learning how to make off-shoulder Victorian corset dress with puff sleeves. It's going to be interesting. Watch to the end. So now to make this Victorian corset dress we are talking about, the material we'll be making use of this beautiful damask material. We'll be using this lining. We'll be using this fusible interfacing, which also known as ESTA. We'll be making use of this regilin bone. This is the bone that you can stitch on. So we need this elastic, 1 inch elastic and a half an inch elastic. Now to make this our Victorian dress, Victorian corset dress, I've come with my pattern, and what I'm having here, let me just paraphrase it for you. I'm having the length of a gown here. This is my starting point, which is my shoulder line. Then from there I take the length of my gown, which is 39 inches, and I have 2.5 inches as my hem allowance down here. Then the next thing I'm having here, this is my shoulder line, you can see, and I'm having my chest line of 8 inches. How did I get my chest line? The bust circumference of my client with 6 inches, that is 34. 34 is the bust circumference we are working with. I divide it by 6 inches, so, and it gives me 5.5 or thereabout. Then I added the 1.5 inches to it, making 7 inches. Then I have to first of all come down with my shoulder slope of 1 inch. Then after the shoulder slope of 1 inch, I get my 7 inches. That is what gives us 8 inches altogether to get our chest line. Then after the chest line, I have the bust point of 10 inches. I have the underbust length of 12.5. I have the waistline or half length of 17 inches. Hip line 25 inches. Then our gown length, which is 39 inches. Then another thing we have here is our bust span. The bust span, that is nipple to nipple, we are working with is 7 inches. I divide it by 2, give us 3.5. That's what I mark here, 3.5. And I get it on my hip line as well, 3.5. Then I use my straight ruler to rule it. So that is for that. Then the next thing we want to get now, let me first of all get my the bust measurements of this project. The bust measurement we are working with is 34. I divide it by 4. It gives us 8.5, 8.5. Then I mark it here, 8.5. I mark it. Then to get to get the armhole cuff, I place my tape measure on this line. From after the shoulder slope, I have 7 inches. I divide it by 2, give me the midpoint is 3.5. I mark it. Then I step inward with half an inch, just this way, half an inch. Then I grab my French cuff to draw out my armhole cuff, just placing it this way, just the way you see me placing it. You can see that I'm making use of this one. It touches my 8.5 here, which is my bust circumference, and it touches my shoulder slope here, and at the same time it touched this half an inch that I come in with. Then I just connect it. I connect it just like that. Yeah, that is it. So everything is in shape now, so let's just go straight to the business of today. So the next thing we are going to consider is to come to our underbust. This is underbust line. We come to the left and to the right with 1 inch, 1 inch, 1 inch. So we come to the waistline. We go to the right with 3/4, that is 0.75. Then we do the same thing to the right side. That is it. Then on the hip line, we step up with 2 inches, we mark it. Now we connect it. We connect from our underbust to the waist, just this way. Then we connect from this waistline to the 2 inches we step up from the hip line, just the way you see me doing. So that is it. So the next thing we have to do is to connect from our bust point. We use our French curve to connect to this underbust, just this way. Yes. So the next thing we want to do is to, before we get our upper chest line, let's quickly divide what we are having in our shoulder line here. This shoulder slope, you measure what you are having here. We have 4 inches from here, from the wideness of our neckline to this end. We have 4 inches. We divide it by 2. If you divide 4 by 2, it gives us 2 inches. You mark it. Then use your straight ruler to connect to this point. We connect to our chest line. Yes. So the next thing we want to do now is to get our upper chest. And to get our upper chest, I'll just step up from this chest line. I will step up by 2 inches. You can use 1.5, no problem, but for this project I'll be using 2 inches. I think 2 inches is the max. Okay, I mark it here as well, 2 inches. Then I connect with my straight ruler. So on this, you can see we have connected it. This is our upper chest line, and let me just put it there. So on this upper chest line, we do the same thing we did here, underbust here, by coming to the left and to the right with a 1 inch. We do the same thing here. You can use 3/4, that is 0.75, but me, I will be using 1 inch, 1 inch. So I'll connect it. I'll connect it to this end, just this way. I'm connecting it to the bust point. I'll do the same thing here. Here. This is it. So the next thing we want to do is to begin to get our horizontal measurements proper. We have already taken care of the chest line by getting our bust circumference. That is 34 divided by 4. It gives us the 8.5. That one has already been taken care of. We move straight to the waistline. Our waist circumference is the waist circumference we are working with is 30. We divide it by 4. It gives us 7.5. We come to the waist line. We measure our waist, which is 7.5. We return what we are having inside here. We have 1.5. We return it. We come to the underbust. The underbust measurements, underbust circumference we are working with is 28. We divide it by 4. It gives us 7 inches. On this underbust line, we measure 7 inches. Then what we are having inside here, which is 2 inches, we return it. That is it. So what is the next thing to be taken care of? And then we measure the hip. We come to the hip line. We measure our hip. The hip circumference we are working with is 40. We divide it by 4. It gives us 10 inches. We measure 10 inches on this hip line. So note that we have not, the seam allowance has not been included since we're taking this measurement. And another thing you should take note of is that our pattern is on fold. We assume it's on fold. So by the time you want to place it on your fabric, let your fabric be on fold. So the next thing is for us to move to the down part of our dress. So, and to get the measurements there, all we need to do is to deduct 1.5 inches from this 10 inches. you deduct 1.5 from your hip measurements. The hip measurement we're having here is 10 inches. We divide, I mean, we deduct 1.5. It gives us 8.5. If the material you are using is stretchy, so you are good to deduct 2 inches or 2.5 inches. But for this project, because I'm using damask, and you know damask is very firm, it doesn't stretch, so I'll be using they are reducing 1.5 from this hip measurement, so which give us 8.5. So then the next thing is for me to connect. So I connect from the hem of my gown, I connect to the hip. Then from there, from the hip, I connect to the waist. Then from the waist, I connect to the underbust. Underbust, just the way you see me doing. Then from the underbust, I connect straight to the bust. You can see that our dress is already taking shape now. So the next thing we want to take care of is our bust dart. And to take care of the bust dart, I'll be making use of 1.5, you know, the shoulder to the waist of the front cut, I mean shoulder to the half length of the front cut used to be longer than the back. So, and the difference is what we want to take care of now. So from our shoulder line to the half length, we're having 17 inches. So by the time we want to draw out our back cut, it will be 15.5. We're going to deduct 1.5 from it. If it is 2 inches you use to create your bust dart, you deduct that 2 inches from the shoulder to the half length for you to get your half back. So what I will do now is for me to come to the bust point line. So I measure my 1.5. I'm using 1.5 because the size we are making is a average size, is small size. So if you are making bigger size of somebody like a 38 bust, so you can make use of 2 inches, but for this we'll be making use of 1.5. So I mark my 1.5 here. From the bust point line, I come down with 1.5, then I connect it slantly to the bust point, just the way you see me doing. Then I measure what I'm having there. From this bust point to here, I'm having like a 5 3/4, not 5 1/4. I'm having like 5 3/4. That is like a 5.75. So that 5.75 is what I will measure in this midpoint. Just this way. So, and I connect it. So whatever you have on this line, as it is slantly ruled, is what you measure here. So the next thing I will do is to connect from this point to this to the bust, just this way. Then I connect this way. Yes, so this will take care of our bust dart. Before we take care of the partition, we'll first of all cut out this down part. So, and to achieve that, I'll just fold in this my hem allowance, my 2.5 inches. I'll fold it in. I don't want to cut it straight so that I won't have shortage of fabric. Just fold it in this way, then I cut it out. Have it in mind that seam allowance has not been included. So I will stop it here. I want to cut out from the waistline to the down part. That's what I want to cut out, because our partition is not going to be extended to this part, to the skirt part. So this is our skirt part now. So all we need to do here is to close the dart. We go ahead and close the dart. And to achieve that, all you need to do is to cut this. This is our dart. You cut it. Then apply your adhesive gum. Then just close your dot. So this is our hemline. You can see by the time we fold it in and cut, you can see the way it looks. So if you say you just cut it straight this way, you have shortage of fabric. So this is what we are going to use to cut out the skirt part. Yes, let me just put this aside. Let me write it there. So by the time you want to use this to cut out your fabric, don't forget to add half an inch joining allowance up here. So half an inch will be added here as well. So let's put this aside and go straight to the partition part of this project. I want to thank the sponsor of today's video, Skillshare. Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of online classes and members across the world. I heard about Skillshare from my daughter, who is also a member of Skillshare. One of the classes is talked about and currently enjoying his YouTube success, scripts, suit and edit with MKHBD by Marcus Bradley. Many of you have asked me to create videos on how to start a fashion business. Hopefully I will do that someday. But for now, I recommend you to join Skillshare community to discover many courses that teach about starting and growing a business. One class that I would recommend for you to start with is Absolute Entrepreneurship by Jason Hallam. I know you love to test it out yourself, so I'm giving you an opportunity to explore all the classes on Skillshare completely free for 1 month. Make 2022 the year you perfect your career plan and launch your business. Try out a risk-free 30-day trial to test it out yourself using my unique code. The first 1,000 people to use the link will get a 1 month free trial of Skillshare. Now, to make your Victorian corset, you are good to have as many partitions as you prefer, as you want. But the more partition, the more problem by the time you are doing the joining. So for this project, I'll be having just one partition here. When you look at the thumbnail, they are having like 2 partitions by this side, but I will be creating just one. So, and to achieve that, what I will do is that I will divide this. I will divide this, whatever we are having from here to this point, I will divide it into 2. If you want to create 2 here, you will divide it into 3. Like we have like 4.5 here now. Assuming you are planning to create 2 partitions here, you just divide it into 1.5, 1.5. You have your 1.5 here, you have another 1.5, then another 1.5. But for this one, I will just be dividing it into just 2. And to achieve that, as we are having 4.5 here, when I divide 4.5 into 2, it gives me 2/4. So that is 2.25. We're having our 2.25 here. I mark it here. So from here to here, we have 2.25. So I mark the same thing here. Then I come to the chest line here to get the same thing. I'll just place my ruler, 2.25. This is my 2.25. We are having many dots here. So this is it. Let me use let me from here measure 2.5 instead of 2.25. I will make use of 2.5. So this 2.5, to have accurate measurements, I will measure from here to here. This from this place to this place might not be straight, so but it's straight here. So let me see what we are having from the center front to here. So we have 6.5. So it is that 6.5 I will repeat here. Yes, 6.5. Then on my chest line, I will get 6.5 as well. So by so doing, we will be on safer side by the time we root down. If we choose to measure from here, it might not correct. So yes, we are having our straight line now. Yes, so this is what I will be dividing. So if you want to, you might choose to divide here as well. You might choose to create another partition here as well by, you know, by sharing what you are having here. But for the thumbnail we are having, I won't do that. This is the only place I will be dividing. So now to achieve that, now what I will do is that on this line now, I'll come to the left and to the right with a quarter of an inch, quarter of an inch. I will do the same thing down here, quarter. I connect it. Connect it. Then from here now, I connect to this to the upper chest. So let me get what I'm having here, 6.5. Let me get it on my upper chest, 6.5. So we connect it straight. So now from there now we connect to this quarter of an inch that we come out with. Yes, so that is the only partition we'll be making use of in this project. I told you in the thumbnail this part was divided into 3, but the way I've told you, the way you are going to do it, if you want to make use of a 2 boning from here to here, I mean 3 boning, one boning will be here. Then you share this into 3. As I share this into 2, you share yours into 3. So the next thing we want to do now is to first of all cut out this. Then after cutting it out, we close our darts. Then we now cut out all these ones. Now before we go ahead and cut, you can just take care of the neckline, the type of neckline you want. If you want sweetheart neck, you can just you know, come down by, you can just determine the depth of your neck, of your neckline now. So if it is sweetheart, you can just use like 7.5 or 8 inches. But for this project, I will just be coming down from the chest line with just half. So I mark half, then I connect it. So if it is sweetheart, you know how to come about your sweetheart neck. Just having gotten your whatever the depth of your neckline, you just place your cuff like this and connect it. But we are not making use of the sweetheart in this project. So another thing I will do, assuming you are making the one that you are not adding, if you are not adding sleeve, so you just place your cuff this way. You just connect from here. You just connect to this end, just the way you see me placing this. Just connect. Then this place will just serve as a yoke for you if you need yoke. So but for this one, for this project, it is off shoulder. So in that wise, this place is going to remain this way, because this is going to be the small arm hole we are going to use to connect, I mean to attach our sleeve for the off shoulder, I mean to attach our off shoulder sleeves. So let me just cut it out. If you want to add yoke, this can easily serve as your yoke. So you just cut this out this way. So you can just go ahead and add your seam allowance of half an inch here before you cut it out. So for this project, there is no yoke, so that's not our point of focus. So let's just take care of this. So for this, I'll first of all take care of the darts. Bust that by cutting this way. So you can see it matches up. So that is for the side. So the next thing we want to do now is to cut out our partition, and to achieve that, this place we are going to blend it back. I blend up this, you can see from here. I blend it up that way. Here I blend it up this way. Let me use contrast so that when we want to cut it out, there won't be problem. So I'll be using this red marker to connect it back. You can see. Then you connect this one as well. So when we are cutting that place, it is this red marker we will cut out. So for this one, what I will do is that I will use my to connect back. Connect it back. So this one is still intact. So we want to cut out this now. So but before I cut it out, let me just name it. This is 1, 2, then 3, so that you won't misplace where you are joining. So as for this area not to be sharp, you can just, I'm trying to blend those areas so it won't be too sharp. So this is what will be used to cut out our fabric. So this is it. And when we want to use it to cut out our fabric, you ensure 3/4 of an inch is added to this side. You can add 1/2 inch or 3/4. So will be added to this side, this side, this side, to 1/2 inch to 3/4. You add it to all those areas, and this side add 1 inch to 1.5, 1 to 1.5 inch for the seam, side seam allowance. This place is going to be on fold, and ensure that 1/2 inch is added to the upper part and 1/2 inch is added to the down parts for as a joining allowance here. So 1/2 inch here for you to use and turn it. So that is for the front pattern. So the next thing is for us to move straight to the back pattern now. So now this is the pattern drafting for the front cut over Victorian corset dress. So this is the bodice and this is the skirt part, and in case you need yoke, this is the yoke part. So all you need to do for the yoke, you 1/2 inch has been added at the shoulder length here, so you had 1/2 inch here and you had 1/2 inch by this armhole line. So I've indicated where all the area that allowance will be added, side here. So let's just move straight to the back. Now to the back pattern of our Victorian corset dress. So I've come here with the basic back pattern, and what we're having here is that firstly we get our 1 inch seam allowance, zipper allowance, 1 inch zipper allowance. We get it down here, we rule it straight, and the length of gown for the back is 39 minus that 1.5 bust that of the front. So 39 minus 1.5 will give us 37.5. Then we have our 2.5 M allowance down here. So the next thing we do here is that we get our chest line, 8 inches. This is the shoulder line, the starting point of this project. Chest line of 8 inches. We have our waist line of 15.5. That is, you know, in the front we have 17 inches as our waistline. We deduct 1.5, which is that serve as a bust. That we deduct that 1.5 from 17, it gives us a 15.5. So this 15.5 now is regarded as a half back or waistline for the back. Then we have our hip line. This is our hip line from the waistline. When you measure in the front cut from the waistline, hip line is 8 inches. So the same thing happens here. So from the waistline, the hip line should be 8 inches. So then we have our full length. Another thing we have drawn here is the bust span. The bust span, the purpose of bust span at the back cut is for us to get the darts, the back darts. So we have a 3.5, which is our bust span. That is nipple to nipple in the front. So we get it here on the chest line, 3.5 is 7 inches. So we divide 7 inches by 2, give us 3.5. We get it here on the hip line as well, and we connect it with a straight line. Then this is our shoulder length, 14 inches. We divide it by 2, give us 7 inches. We have our 7 inches here. We get it on the chest line as well, 7 inches, and we connect it with a straight ruler where our armhole cuff will be taken care of. So on this is a shoulder slope of 1 inch. Thereafter we have 7 inches. We have explained that in the front cut. We just connect from that midpoint here. You don't need to, you know, enter inward by half for the back the way we did in the front. All you need to do is to just connect from that midpoint here, connect to your bust measurements. Just this way is the way we get it. That is that. So the next thing for us to do now is to firstly get our darts before we begin to get our horizontal measurements. And to get our darts on this bust span line on the waist, we come to the left and to the right with a half an inch for the back. Half an inch. Then on the chest line, we step down with a 1 inch. On the hip line, we come up with 2 inches. Then we connect it. Then connect to this one where you come up with 2 inches. Yes. So we have been able to create our dart now. So the next thing is to get our horizontal measurement proper. We have gotten the chest, the bust measurements, which is 8.5. Then we go straight to the waist. The waist circumference we are working with is 30. We divide it by 4, give us 7.5. So we measure 7.5 on this waistline or half back. Then the 1 inch we are having inside here, we return it 1 inch. So the next thing we have to do, we get our hip line, hip circumference. The hip circumference we are working with is 40 inches. We divide it by 4, give us 10 inches. we measure 10 inches on this hip line, 10 inches. So we get to the, we go straight to the tip of our gown, our gown length. So the down part of our dress, we deduct 1.5 from this hip line. 1.5 minus 10 minus 1.5 give us 8.5. We mark it here. So don't forget to fold in this before you cut. Let's just fold it in. The next thing for us is for us to connect this point from the tip of our gown. We connect to the hip line. Then from there we connect to the waist line. Then from here we connect to the bust line. So our back drafting has taken shape now. So the next thing we have to do is to shape the center of our back to avoid the zipper bulging. So to achieve that, on this waistline we come inward by half an inch. So which means from this half an inch we measure our 1 inch zipper allowance out. So you can just come in by half an inch on this point from this place. So the next thing we have to do is to step up on this chest line. We step up with 2 inches. 2 inches. So mark it here, 2 inches. So we just connect from this half of an inch. We connect to this end. That is to take care of the zipper bulging. So from here now we connect straight to our hip line this way. So you can just, as it is, can connect from this, so that by the time you are sewing, you will know that this is the area your zipper will pass through and connect. You can see this is our 1 inch zipper allowance. Now this is the way it goes. Yes, this very one will be cut off. So this is it. So the next thing we want to do is to go straight to demarcation, the partition. So, and to do that, what we'll be doing here now is that we are going to divide this. What we are having here, we're going to divide it into 2. So what we have here, we have 4.5, just the same way we have it in the front. So you can, I told you you are good to share it into 3, but for this project we just be sharing it into 2. And to achieve that, from here, this is a 4.5. From here now we just be coming in with a 2.5. Let me mark 2.5. Then I check what I'm having from this point. I have 6 inches from here to here. So it is that from this line, the very line we ruled at initial stage before we started this. So we have 6 inches. So I mark that 6 inches to be on safer side, because if you say you should be taking it from here, there might be problem. So mark your 6 inches as it is being marked here. Mark it here as well, 6 inches. Then connect it with your straight ruler. So for this project, that one will be doing, I will connect it from this chest line to the waist line, because it's not going to be extended to our skirt part. So let me leave it this way. So what I will do here now is that I come to the left and to the right here. I come to the left and to the right with 1/4 of an inch, quarter. Then I connect it straight up. I connect it straight up this way. So we are having, when you measure what we have here now, we have half an inch here, 1/4 to the left, 1/4 to the right. We have half an inch. Ensure that you return it here, half an inch. So I will connect it up. So this is the line we are going to follow when we are cutting out now. So that is it, and this very thing will be connected to this place as well. So this is our new side cutting now. We are not going through, because this half an inch has been returned. And that reminds me, even for the front cut, so nothing spoiled anyway. By the time you are cutting out your fabric, so it's escaped my mind that time, when when we were doing our demarcation, we do the same thing we did here. This quarter, we did it somewhere here. So that place where we did that, we are quarter of an inch. So ensure that you return it. You return it here. Oh, sorry. This is it. This is where quarter, which making half an inch is deducted. Ensure that you return it here when you are cutting out your fabric before you had your 1 inch seam allowance. So I will do that. You will see it by the time I cut out my fabric, because let me just show you. It's now, it occurs to me, but even by the time I want to cut out the fabric, I will definitely remember. So look at it. This is it now. By the time this one is joined together, so look at it. I was observing it when we were placing this. So what I will do now is that I will just take a fresh paper, because it will definitely affect it. But as I've discovered it, let me quickly do something about it. So it is just here. So you know, half an inch, which is quarter is deducted here. It doesn't extend to, we didn't extend it to the skirt part that time. So that half an inch, quarter making half an inch that you deducted here and here, you are going to return it this side. That's half an inch. You connect it so that this will match your skirt part when you are drafting your, when you are joining the fabric to the skirt part. And just from here now, from this avenue, just go the way this one goes. You can see the way it goes. Yeah. So by the time we join everything together, everything will be, it will take care of itself. By the time all these that is joined together, all these one you are seeing, all right. So now, having joined this half an inch to it, now by the time you match this together now, you will see that it's now rhyme with these skirt parts, because this half an inch is it was short there before. So this will be there before you had your 1 inch seam allowance, or you just go straight and add the 1.5 seam allowance to this side, just from here to here. But it's better you do it this way. So that is for that. So that is what we are doing now on the back cut. So on the back cut now, this half an inch has been, has been returned. So and it doesn't extend to this side. So the next thing we are going to do now, so you don't need to, what I mean is that as it is being returned, this one we are still going to make use of this one. We are not going to make use of this, because this half an inch is not reduced from the skirt part. So it's only, we only deduct it from the back bodies. So when we are cutting, it is this one we are going to cut out. But here, this is the one we are going to cut out. This is the one I want to cancel. So that is it. So what the next thing we do now is to cut out. Before we cut out, let's take care of our neckline. And for our neckline, it depends on how deeper you want it to be at the, at your center back there. It depends on how deeper you want your neck to be. For this project, I'll be, for it to rhyme, what you're having, the upper chest we make use of 6 inches as our upper chest. So you just go ahead and get your upper chest of 6 inches. This is it. I get it here as well, or you just step up from here with 2 inches. So you are going to arrive at the same thing. I want to use this to take care of my neckline at the back. Yes. So to take care of the back neckline now. Yes. So what we do is that you give your back any shape of your choice. let me see. For this one, I can leave it straight. Should I decide to leave it straight, or I step down? I can step down like just half an inch or 1 inch. Let me step down with 1 inch for the back. So I'll just connect it to this end. So this is my back. Yes, connect it this way. So because we are not making use of the yoke, you know, this is my partition. I'll just you know, extend it up 3.5. I get my 3.5 here. Let me do it this way. On the shoulder, on my shoulder line, let me get the half of it, which is 2 inches. So from there, I connect to this end. Yes. Then for this, I connect it up here. 6 inches. I get my 6 inches here. I connect it straight up. Yes. So for this center now, for me to have that firmness at my back, so what I will do here, I will just go to the left and to the right with let me use half an inch, because many a times that back, by the time you finish sewing it, many a times it doesn't grip. So this will make it to be firm at that back. So I will just connect it this way. As I come with half to this side, let me just use quarter to come to this side, quarter of an inch. So I'm not using half of. So I just connect it. Let me connect it to this end. Yeah. So I want to cut it out now. I'll first of all cut the skirt part. So this skirt part, I told you, this is we are still going to maintain this because nothing is removed here. I cut out the zipper bulge, that which we used to avoid the zipper bulge. So then I close my dart. I close my dart this way. This is for the back. So this is it for the skirt part. So let me take care of this now. So this is our new neckline. So don't forget the shape. Then you cut it this way. You know, we have come down from the upper chest line. Then our armhole line. Assuming you are making a sleeveless, you are good to connect from here, from this chest line. You can just step down up to this level, then you connect it. For this one is having sleeve. So we want to cut out this now. So assuming you are making use of your yoke, so this is it. So this will serve as your back yoke. So I want to take care of this. I cut the darts. You know, if you've been watching my video, when we are making princess darts and we are making the back cut, if you attend our corporate wear online class. For the back, where we took care of the princess darts at the back, or shoulder darts, or whatever. Here, this shape you are seeing here, you are good to, so that you won't have problem with it, you are good to just blend it before you go ahead and cut out your fabric. Just blend it this way, then you cut out. That is for the back, so that you won't experience this. By the time you are joining it together, there won't be so everything will be taken care of. So this is the partition for the back cut. By the time you are joining it together, it's all right, because in case you want to experience any kind of shortage here, you just blend it up with a fresh paper. So this is the back cut of our Victoria corset dress. All you need to do, all this area that we parted it, you are going to add 1/2 or 3/4 of an inch to both sides. You add it here, you add it here. Then your seam allowance must be added here. Seam allowance of 1 inch. Here you add 1/2 an inch. Half an inch, half or 3/4, half to 3/4, half to 3/4 of an inch. You do the same thing here. Up here you had 1/2 an inch, 1/2 an inch up here. That is why when you are cutting on your fabric, 1/2 an inch. Down here, 1/2 an inch, 1/2 an inch, 1/2 an inch. Up your dress here, 1/2 an inch must be added up here. Side seam of 1 inch. Side seam of 1 inch. 1 inch. So for this project, we are not making use of the yoke, but I just draft it out in case you want to attach yoke to yours. So this is it now. This is what we are talking about. So by the time you match this down part together, it will match up with the skirt part, the way you see it here. So that's it. Okay, so for the side, this is the side for the front, this is the side for the back. So you can see that they are on the same length now. Just see it here. So because we have deducted the 1.5 from the back, so that is it. So this is the back cut. Now this is the pattern drafting for the front bodies of our corset dress, and this is the back half bodies for this Victorian corset project. So the next thing we'll be doing is to cut out our fabrics and do it just the way I've told you, by adding 1/2 an inch everywhere. We need to add the allowance. We are going to add it, and we are going to be doing the joining together of this corset, Victorian corset, and that will be done in my next video. So I'm sure you have really enjoyed this video. So make sure you subscribe to this channel if you have not done so, and drop your comments on the comment section. Share this video with your friends and family. It goes a long way. So thank you very much for watching. I will see you in my next video. Bye.